Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, boxing and MMA fans from around the world. Introducing from Bassett, California, the third man in the ring, Popeye Ray.
Hey, welcome to Third Man in the Ring. I'm your host, Popeye Ray. Hey, before we start, guys, get on YouTube. Ref Popeye Ray or Third Man in the Ring. Push subscribe. Share this content. If any of you guys want to sponsor my podcast, send me an email at thirdmanintheringpodcast@gmail.com. Today we got another awesome interview. You know what, guys? We're going to talk. He was a great fighter in his time, held the IBF title at featherweight title. Let me get my notes here. Held the belt at the IBF USBA featherweight title in 2017. He had an awesome career. I've known him since he was a little boy, him and his brother. His family is the Franco family. They have 3 gyms, 2 in Southern California and 1 coming up in Arizona, the War Zone Boxing Gym. But today we're going to hear a testimony from Daniel Franco, Twitch they called him. So I want you to give him a warm welcome, Daniel Franco.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
I appreciate you having me.
Sit down, brother, sit down. So Daniel, man, thank you for coming on, man. This is awesome, man. I've seen Daniel fight since he was a little guy, and now he's retired. And some of you know his story already, but we're going to hear the good side and the bad side, if there is a bad side. We're going to hear if Daniel's, a little angry at boxing, or does he still support it? But right now, let's start. Like, what are you doing today? What's your gym offering right now?
My boxing gym, Warzone Boxing Club, we're offering a 6 a.m. class, a 9 a.m. class, a 3 p.m. class, and an 8 p.m. class, all for adults. In between there, usually around 12 to 3 o'clock, we have competition team training. Those are the kids that are going to be fighting at competitions and at shows. Okay. Those are the kids that are a little bit older. They're 18 and up. So they're in between 18 to like 25. So
women and kids, boys and men, the whole thing?
Yes. Yeah, okay. Yeah. They're able to come in at around that time. At 3 p.m. we have our adult class, and then at 4:30 I have my competition kids. Oh, okay. They come in and they train for almost 2 hours. They go from 4:30 all the way to 6:30 when they finish their conditioning. And then normal kids get here at 6 p.m. We train the kids for about 1 hour exactly, ends at 7. Teenagers go at 7, all the way to 8:30. Adults start at 8, so there's a half-hour overlap between the teenagers and adult. That half-hour overlap, they're running laps around the building. They're doing push-ups and sit-ups in the ring. They're working.
Beautiful gym here, guys. We're at the Upland War Zone, and you have another one in...
Yes, we have another one in Rialto. That address is 123 South Riverside Avenue, Rialto, California.
There you go, guys. And Dad's opening one in Arizona.
Yes, he's opening up one in Bullhead City, Arizona. If you ever been to Bullhead City, it's near Laughlin, Nevada. It's in Arizona, though. It's maybe 20, 30 minutes away from Laughlin. Oh, okay. It's at a gym called Mad Dog Fitness. They are open 24 hours a day, so there's no closing. And the gym is going to be open only specific times. But they have.
I can't see your dad waking up in the middle of the night.
Well, just to think, that's what he does. He wakes up in the middle of the night. He'll just
already thinking.
He's already thinking. Yeah, he tells me all the time that, man, I was up at like 3 a.m., 2 a.m. last night. I was like, why? He's like, I just couldn't stop.
And you know what, guys? Just to let you know, I've been in the boxing game. I'm going to be 61 years old. And you know what? I've been in the boxing game since I was 8 years old. And I got so much trust in the Franco family. They even trained my son, Adrian Corona. Trained my son, So with that said, Daniel, what are you doing with yourself these days?
So I'm teaching boxing. Even though I almost lost my life to the sport and everything, I have always been comfortable in the boxing ring, in the boxing gym. This is my home away from home. I feel like it's more home than it is in my actual home. Yeah. But I'm teaching in the morning, teaching in the afternoons, teaching all the kids. I want to become a referee. I want to become one of you guys.
There you go.
I want to go to Jack Reese's training.
And who better to be a referee than an ex-fighter, guys? He knows. You know what? I sparred hundreds of times, but competition-wise, no, I don't know. Who better than to have an official like Daniel Franco. He knows, you know, he's been there, he's done that. And you know, hey, God's luck on that, Meal. God's luck on that. You know what I mean?
Amen, brother, yes.
So real quick, let's talk. You have a brother as well, 2 brothers, no?
Yeah, I have 2 brothers.
Did they fight as well?
I had one brother that fought. He was older. Both of them older. I'm the youngest. One brother he fought professionally. He was 19-1 as a professional. Yes. He also won a WBC Intercontinental Youth Championship.
We're gonna get him on soon.
Yeah, you gotta get him on. He's got the craziest stories. He's writing a book about his boxing endeavors, and it's very, very powerful. It's so. Honestly.
I'll definitely blow that up.
When people read it, they're like, that doesn't sound like your brother at all. Like, I didn't know he has all this fire and all this compassion inside of him. He lets out, I think, his emotion and his frustration and everything on paper. And I used to let my frustration out on my sparring partners,
I've seen that a few times.
On my opponents, and
we're gonna get to that. Because I know one incident that I want to talk about in sport. But Dan, how was your amateur career? Did you have an amateur career?
I had an amateur career. It was very, very good. I did really well as an amateur. I started boxing when I was 9 or 10 years old.
Yeah.
I was very, very young. We ended up going to the box gym instead of actually going to a baseball diamond one of the years. I stopped playing baseball, picked up boxing, and I didn't know this when I was a kid, but I had very bad vision. I thought the ball was always blurry. I didn't know anybody seen it.
And do you wear glasses, Daniel?
I wear glasses now, or I used to wear glasses. Okay. And then I got LASIK surgery, I want to say last year.
Oh, wow.
And oh my gosh, like.
Did miracles? Yeah?
It's a miracle, yeah. It's amazing that it's actually possible to have surgery just correct your vision completely. My vision was 20/250.
Oh.
That means like.
That's legally blind in one eye, no?
Well, I'm both eyes.
Oh.
I was basically legally blind for boxing as a professional fighter.
Wow.
If I could do it, you could do it.
That's right.
You just got to put your mind to it. That's it.
That's it.
But
your amateur career?
Yeah, my amateur career, it went really well. I remember the very first tournament that I went to was the Ringside World Championships when I was only like 10 or 11 years old. We flew out there. My brother won the championship. He got the world championship. I didn't. I lost the first day, but the person who beat me, he won the world championship. So at least I lost the world championship.
That's right. That's right.
If it wasn't him, it would have been me.
There was no war zone back then, right?
No, there was no war zone. There was no war zone quite yet.
It was just the Franco brothers, right?
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, it was just us.
Dad was always the trainer?
Dad wasn't always a trainer. Wow. Dad, so when we first started off, we had a couple trainers. One was in Felipe. He lived in Grupo Valley. He lived out there. He used to work at a diner, and I remember we used to go to his diner, and he would always bring us out coffee and eggs and chicken, and
there you go.
It was nice. He would hook it up with a really nice plate. I remember having a number of different trainers throughout my boxing career. When I was a kid, first it was Felipe, and then it was another guy named Augustine, or Augie. We used to call him Augie, Coach Augie. He was, I want to say, related to Johnny Tapia.
This is all Southern California?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is all in Southern California. So he was training us for a long time. I didn't like the way he trained because he would always smack my hands really, really hard to try to feel the power, I guess.
Yeah.
So I would hurt my hands, and like I would tell my dad, like, hey, like all of my brothers would say, hey, like every time Augie trains us, like our hands are hurting. He smacks us really hard. So we stopped training with him. We trained with my dad for numerous amount of years.
Yeah.
Brother Nick got out of boxing, he had one amateur fight. Mm-hmm. He won. He retired undefeated.
There you go.
And he wasn't too much for boxing. He wasn't too much for boxing.
He's the brother that entered the military, no?
Yes. Yeah, he was the brother that entered
I think I met him 1 or 2 times, but I know your brother Mike and you mostly. Yeah.
Nicholas was, he went into the military after high school, and he got out, I want to say maybe about 3-4 years ago. Honorable discharge and all that. And
Good for him, and thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you, Nicholas. I appreciate you. I love you. Can't wait to see you again one day. Right now, he's living out in Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's living out there. My brother Michael lives with me. We live together. We have a house together. It's really nice. It's we don't see each other too often. We honestly see each other mostly here.
Pass each other, huh?
Yeah, because he's in the back house, I'm in the front house, and we see each other here all the time. And every time I see him, I give him a hug. I said I love you.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's just something that I think my dad has built.
I was just gonna say,
built into us.
That reflects a lot on your parents.
Yeah.
I mean, because when all is said and done, Mil, it's your brother and your sister and your mom and dad that are gonna be there
la familia.
always. You know what I mean?
La familia, puro.
And that says a lot to Mrs. Franco and to your dad. You know?
Yeah. No, my mom. So, my mom, she is an absolute saint. I'm not sure if you know this, but when I got injured into 2017, I was almost dead. I was in the hospital, and she took sick time off of her job, and she stayed with me in the hospital for about 3 months.
Yeah.
Every freaking day she was there. I woke up, she was there. I woke up, she wasn't there. I'm like, where's she? Where's the nurse? I'm like, where's your mom's? Yeah. Your mom's getting food. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember, Mil.
Oh my God, just.
I remember.
But
I don't want to make it scripted. So yeah, I remember when you got hurt. But before we get there, before I get into that ugly side of boxing, if that's what you want to call it, how did your pro career start going? Because I've seen you fight many times. I've seen you fight countless times. You and your brother. I even refereed your brother once.
Really?
Yeah, once.
No way.
Dad got mad at me because the guy bit him in Morongo.
Oh, I remember that. I remember him biting him.
He bit my son, huh? I'm like,
I can't sorry. I can't control the guy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I refereed him, yeah. I didn't get to referee you though. Okay. But I refereed your brother. But so when did you decide in the amateurs, you know what, I'm gonna turn pro? It's time,
So when I was about 16 years old, we did an international tournament. We got invited to Canada with Steve Harpst and Michelle Chong and their boxing team. They were gonna fly us out there, and we ended up not going. My boxing coach at the time was Javier Castro, who lives in High Desert, Victorville. He's the head coach at High Desert Youth Center. Short story real quick. Yeah. So maybe 5-6 months ago, about 8 months ago, 9 months ago, he was diagnosed with cancer and all that.
Oh, wow.
And he was really, he was down, and he looked like he was getting bad, and he beat it. He beat freaking cancer. And I saw him at a boxing tournament, and he was like, Danny, come here. And he gives me a big old hug, and I was so excited.
That's an ugly disease.
I was so excited and happy to see him healthy, full, and just happy about life. And he was like, Danny, we made it.
That's right.
We made it. Right. I was like, yes, amen. That's awesome.
My wife's a registered nurse in oncology, so she deals with cancer.
Oh my gosh.
So she sees the ugly side, but she sees the good side as well when they beat it, Yeah, that's a very ugly disease,
Yeah.
So your career in the pros started when? I have the numbers here, but I want you to tell the fans.
My career in the professional rankings of boxing started in 2010. I graduated high school in 2010. Directly after, I went and turned professional.
What weight?
126. I believe I was I was 126 pounds. I think maybe a couple fights later, I went up to 135 because I got a 2-day notice on a fight. I knocked the guy out in the first round, something like that. But going throughout high school, I always knew I was going to be a professional.
Yeah, you knew it in your...
I knew it in my heart and soul. I knew it in my mind. I knew what I needed to do to become one of the world's best. And I did do that. And I did I was one of the world's best, for sure.
That's right. I mean, you don't just walk in and get a belt. You gotta fight for it.
You got to fight for it. Yeah, you got to fight for it.
And that's a big accomplishment,
Thank you.
And that's why I say this story might have some tears in it. This story might have a lot of joy in it, you know. But right now, today, it's joy because you're sitting here.
Amen.
Okay?
Yes.
And that's the awesome part of it. So through this career, how did the when you fought for the title? Because I remember when we both went on a radio show and you had your belt.
Yeah.
And that was awesome.
That was so
I was
cool.
happy for you.
That
I
was
go,
so
you know
cool.
what? That's an awesome accomplishment, you know. So I mean, how many fights did you have, and what was your most hardest fight besides the incident?
Probably the one before the incident that I think started it all. I fought Christopher Martin in Los Angeles on March 20th, I believe, of 2000.
Moret was the referee.
I believe so.
I worked the show. I didn't referee, but I worked the show.
Okay. And I remember I think I dropped Christopher Martin once in the first round. I think he dropped me twice in the third round. I'm not sure. I don't really remember it very well. So after that fight, or before the fight even started, I was having I was sick during training camp. I had a flu, and then I had to take like a week off, and then I went back to training camp, and I was like, all right, I'm good, I'm okay. And then when I fought Christopher Martin, I got gassed out very quickly. I got knocked out for the first time ever in my life, and then shortly, less than 2 months later, I'm fighting in Iowa. Well, first I'm fighting in Mexico to get a knockout within 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, 3 weeks later after that, I was supposed to fight in June in Iowa. Sorry, June 10th.
And I was actually watching the fight that day. Yeah, I was actually watching the fight that day, and but you know what, Daniel? Since we're there already,
Yeah.
tell me, what do you remember about the fight? Do you remember it at all, any of it?
I remember the day before.
I mean, because honestly, and I'm not blowing smoke, you came out hard as usual. You came out boxing, and you've always been a sharp, slick boxer.
Yeah.
Well, what was it? What was happening? Do you remember any of that?
I remember zero. I remember waking up out of the coma, and I remember looking over to my dad, and I'm like, Dad. I couldn't talk. I had a paralyzed vocal cord. I was like, Dad. He's like, what? Why? He gets closer. I'm like, I had a dream. He's like, what did you dream? What was your dream? And I said, I had a dream that Haro was laughing at the weigh-in because he hates doing face-offs. My dad looked at me. He goes, that happened. And I'm just like, what? Like, what happened?
So just to tell the fans, this was June 10th, right?
June 10th was the fight.
June 10th, 2017.
Yes.
You fought Jose Haro in what state?
In Iowa.
And at what weight?
At 126 pounds.
126 pounds.
I believe
it was televised. What was it televised? I forget.
CBS, Channel 2.
That's right. It was
Nation
regular TV.
freaking wide.
It was a regular TV fight. We were all of us. Me, I have 5 sons. Yeah. Me, Adrian, were stuck to the TV, and we seen the fight, and I just don't know what happened.
I've heard. I haven't watched the fight myself. I've seen maybe the portion where I get knocked out. That's about it. But I heard that I didn't look like my normal self.
No, you didn't. I thought it was maybe weight cut, but there's more to that story.
There's way more to that story. Yeah, well, what I said before earlier was, I fought Christopher Martin when I was sick, while I was sick in training camp, and that I think was just a culmination of everything put together, and then plus the Haro fight. Haro, not to take away anything from Haro, but he's not known as a power puncher. He's not known to have a big shot to send somebody down like that. There was previous damage, obviously, and that's what, that's why I have a prosthetic skull plate. That's why I almost lost my life, because I think just having more preventative maintenance in the industry would be super helpful.
And
CT scans, functional MRIs.
Tell the fans that.
CT scans, functional MRIs after a hard knockout, or even, I didn't get knocked out, but I got dropped.
Yes.
And maybe
Well, I was at that fight in Los Angeles.
maybe if
There wasn't
someone
nothing devastating.
but
Lou Moret just stopped it.
yeah,
And you know, and no disrespect to Lou Moret, Dr. Lou Moret, but I think I would have, at the moment, I think maybe because I know you good, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to criticize, but it is what it is. And then you went to Mexico and you got a quick knockout, right?
Yeah.
And then you fought Harrell.
yeah,
But we don't necessarily know if there was just damage already from the prior fights, or like you said, you had the flu. And like I had my podcast the other day with one of the doctors. When you don't have any fluid in your brain, guys,
yes,
it's like a marble in a can.
yeah,
It just moves around.
Yeah.
But when you're totally hydrated, you have jelly in there and it can move better. So when you're dehydrated or have the flu or you're not feeling well, it could be many things. But like you say, if you have CT scans and all this other stuff, preventable. But just in the defense of boxing, guys, I looked up the brain injuries in sports. And you know what the highest brain injury is? And even Daniel was surprised, is cycling. Cycling has the highest brain injuries.
Wow.
And then skateboarding has the second highest. And then football. And then baseball, which really surprised me, baseball. And then basketball, and then boxing. Water sports, and then boxing. So with that said, guys, under supervision, boxing is still a safe sport. And the reason why I asked you that is if mommy comes in with a 10-year-old boy and says, hey, I want my son to box, or you know what, I'm afraid to let my son box. What would be your best advice to that?
So if somebody comes in and says, hey, like, what? I know this is a dangerous sport. I want my son to start, but I'm feeling a little iffy about it. I'm say, hey, listen, I have gone through some of the worst times in my life, not because of boxing, because of the repercussions of it and not being careful and not having proper precautions. Here, because what I've been through, head trauma, I make sure that everybody has equal sparring, somebody the same weight, the same size. I put somebody way more experienced with somebody that's very less experienced.
Yes.
You don't put somebody less experienced and less experienced because these two people that are so less experienced, they don't know how to throw a punch. They don't know how to control their power. They don't even know how to pull a punch, how to block a punch correct. So when you get somebody that is much more up at this level, and this person, they kind of shed off some of their greatness. You learn as you work with the people.
And it's crazy. I'm glad you said that, Daniel, because a lot of parents will come in and they say, oh, that guy's got a lot of fights. I don't want him to fight. I want him to spar somebody that has no fights. But when you get two kids that don't know nothing, they're in there trying to kill each other.
Yeah, exactly.
They're trying to kill you. But that's an awesome point you make. When you get an experienced fighter or somebody that knows sparring and spars with a kid that doesn't know nothing, it's better because he knows how to pull his punches. Yes. He knows how to work with him. He knows where to go to that
time
level.
Up, relax, let him hit him, work on the defense if he needs to.
Exactly. And let's be honest, I'm assuming because where your dad grew up, he grew up in the hood as well. He wanted his sons to learn self-defense.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure all three of them do, and probably even sister, a little bit, huh?
Hey, she can throw.
I can imagine.
She knows how to throw her hands pretty well. Yeah. Like she's she's hung around us our entire lives, so she can hold her own, actually. Right, she's pretty good.
So, with all that said, those are the stats in sports. So when you people say, or the fans say, you know what, I don't want my kid in there, this is coming from the worst and the best of it. Daniel went to the worst, pretty much almost lost his life. How long were you in a coma?
I was told 10 days.
10 days.
10 days.
And you know what? What's longer than, or what's worse in a coma is 1 minute. 1 minute in a coma. So imagine 10 days. I can only imagine what your mom went through. because I was communicating with your dad, and he just was mad. I know he loves you. Don't get me wrong. I know he loves you, but we deal with hurt in an angry way, you know?
Yeah.
He was mad. And all I could tell him was, I'm praying for you. Hang in there, Holmes, you know? And your mom, I didn't talk to your mom at the time because I know she was just bedside, you know? But I can imagine. I can only imagine, you know?
Yeah.
But thank God you made it. And this is after how many surgeries?
Amen. I want to say 5 brain surgeries. So the first one, initially to stop the bleeding. The second one to take out...
Real quick, Daniel, let me interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Did they give you the initial injury?
What does that mean?
I mean, like, do they know what caused the injury besides you getting knocked down? Because you didn't get knocked out. You got knocked down.
Subdural hematoma.
Subdural hematoma, which I don't really know what that means.
That means a broken blood vessel in the brain, and it's the brain is bleeding.
Because I remember after the fight ended and they stopped it, you sat down on the floor. I think it was on the floor, and your dad was, you know, kind of cradling you. I knew something there. Something's wrong. Something's wrong.
Yeah, if I couldn't get up.
Yeah, you couldn't get up. Hey guys, I want to give a shout out to my sponsors. One of them is Black Widow Investigations Legal Services. Tell them Popeye Ray sent you. Their phone number is 818-599-3613. Black Widow Investigations. Hey, want to give a shout out to my sponsors, Rivera Towing. Did you know in 2023, they were the top towing service in the Inland Empire, and they serve all of Southern California. But I want to give a shout out to Rivera Towing. You need them, tell them Popeye Ray sent you. But at the same time, he's venturing out. He's opening up his own sports bar, and it's going to be called Ringside Bar. It's not open yet, and keep your ears open for the grand opening day. It's going to be in Lake Elsinore. They're going to have boxing, MMA, but the bar is shaped like a ring. That's crazy, guys. The bar is shaped like a ring. Keep your ears out for the grand opening. It's going to be in Lake Elsinore. They're going to have food, alcohol, the whole thing, man. A DJ. They're going to have boxing, MMA, football, baseball, every kind of sport. But check them out. That's going to be Rivera Towing, and they're owner of soon-to-be Ringside Bar.
I want to also thank our friends at Kelstar Roofing. Kelstar Roofing specializes in residential roofing, installing concrete roofing tiles, and composition asphalt shingles. They have been serving the Inland Empire for over 31 years. Call on Kelstar Roofing for all of your roofing needs.
Yeah. You don't even remember that part?
I don't remember any of it. I just remember from what I've seen on video. I don't remember.
Can the fans still see that fight?
You can still see the fight. I believe it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you look up Daniel Franco, Jose Haro.
You could see the whole fight.
I was at Daniel Barrera's fight, Chucky. I was at his fight.
And who's Chucky, real quick, if you want to tell? I can't speak on him.
It's okay. Chucky is Daniel Barrera. He is a flyweight boxer out of our gym. Fights at 115 pounds. He is exceptional. He's such an exceptional boxer. I've known him, or we've been teaching him since he was about 9 or 10 years old. He picked up like that. And when I was professional, he was always hanging around. He was always a little kid around. Now that Chucky is professional, I have my amateurs, and they are same thing like him, just hanging around and learning from the better.
Chucky just fought at Commerce.
Yes.
Did an awesome job, great job.
He did a really good job, yeah.
And this is where it's crazy. Your dad was actually happy that he got the rounds, because usually he just knocks everybody out. But to get the rounds, that gives you more experience.
Yes, so he wasn't able to get all the experience out of every fight.
It's funny, in that last round, he almost had him.
He almost had him,
And it made it a great, exciting fight as well. The guy wasn't a walk to the park.
No, he was not.
Which gave Chucky that experience. But
Chucky even mentioned, he was like, man, he's like, I know, like, once I go 8 rounds, like, I'm going to start putting people out a lot more, because
he seems like, from my opinion, and I can only talk about his past fights. I can't talk about his future, because then they'll say I'm biased. But you know what? You could see his maturity.
Yes.
You could see his maturity. You could see the Franco training. You know what I mean?
Well, he was training. He was sparring with Chocolatito. Roman Gonzalez for a long time.
Big time world champion there, man.
And I believe he sparred with him, like, I think before even Chucky was pro, or like maybe 1 or 2 fights in professional career. He got set up sparring with him, and he's learning from pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world.
Yeah.
In our era, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
very, very good. He's a highly noted boxer, and I feel the same way about Chucky, that he's very, very good, that he's very, very one of the best in the sport right now, but not enough light has been shown on him yet. And he's a small weight. He's not 147. He's not putting people to sleep. He's putting people to sleep with fast. It's exciting.
But you know, some fans are the type, they like a good boxing match.
Oh, yeah.
And some people like brawlers. I mean, it looked like Cesar Chavez, and I know I'm a lot older than you, but Cesar Chavez Sr., he used to beat you up over rounds. And it seems like that's where Chucky is going. Again, I can't say his future, but it seems like that's where he's going because he's a technician.
Yes, he's a technician. He's very much a technician.
And he's just not a headhunter. He's a technician, you know, and God's luck to him, you know what I mean?
Amen. Yeah,
but going back to you, Daniel, are you bitter? What happened?
Yes and no, because I've experienced some of the most amazing, freaking blessed like moments in my life because I don't box anymore.
Yeah.
I get a lot of recognition when I go places. They're like, "Hey, you're Franco, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, nice to meet you." Blah blah blah. I have gained so much knowledge about the brain and about the effects of damage on it, and I know how to reverse it. CBD, everybody, cannabidiol. It's derived from marijuana. There's 0 THC in it, so it doesn't make you high, doesn't give you a head change or anything. Your body has cannabidiol receptors all around it, all inside your body. When you put CBD underneath your tongue, it's supposed to have a protectant over your neurons in your brain. And when I was in a coma, they gave me CBD. The only reason why I was given CBD when I was in a coma, because there was a man named Kyle Turley. Thank you, Kyle, for sending that CBD. He was a professional football player. He has his own CBD brand and all that. He contacted me via Instagram. I was in a coma. Kevin, my friend Kevin Sims, he was handling my phone at the time. He was messaging Kyle back and forth, and he overnighted some CBD, and things were looking worse, not better. So Kevin went to the room. This is what he told me. I don't know, I was in a coma. He told me that when all my parents and my family went out to go eat, he went into the room when I was in a coma and put the CBD underneath my tongue, and
you're here today.
And I woke up 2 days later, healthy. So CBD, get it, please. I've had kids spar. I have my kids spar and all that, and they hit hard. They hit really, really hard because they're trained well.
With that said, Daniel, do you think your injury makes you a better trainer? I mean, be honest. Don't hold money back.
I think everything that I've been through.
You know both sides of the story.
Yeah. There's always a fighter and there's always a loser. The best way to win is to train as hard as you possibly can. You win during your training camp, not during the fight. You can make adjustments when you fight, but most of it's in training.
Yeah. And with that said, what if one of your kids come up to you and say, I got a headache today? And he's supposed to, thank you. And that's what I was going to ask Daniel.
Go drink water. No sparring or
no sparring
CBD.
Today. That's right.
I'll talk to the parent. Hey, I'm going to give your kid a little bit of CBD. Is that okay?
Yeah. And the reason I say that is because, and you know what? Back in the day, again, I'm 61 years old. Back in the day, you're supposed to spar today, you're sparring.
Yeah, you're jumping in, yeah.
You want to vomit, go in the restroom, do what you got to do, and get out here, you know what I mean? That probably explains my You know what I mean? But that's why they called me Canvasback Corona. Eh?
Canvasback Corona, oh man.
You know, Ben Leary used to.
I never heard that. Damn, man.
Ben Leary used to say, "Hey, are you gonna hit back or not?" You know what I mean? But obviously, my kids were better. But yeah, so with that said, Daniel, I mean, do you feel this? So you're not necessarily bitter then. You're not necessarily bitter because you had a great career, bro.
I had a great career. I had an impact. I wish it would have gone a lot longer because my career was about 7 years ago. That's how long my career was. My career was only 7 years.
And that's why I say
it's crazy.
That says a lot about your skills because you got a belt in that time.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
7 years I got a belt.
Some guys fight 10, 11 years
and they never get a belt.
Never get a belt, bro. You never get a belt. You know what I mean? And in my opinion, there's A fighters, B fighters, and C fighters. You were definitely an A fighter.
Amen. Thank you.
You were definitely an A fighter.
I appreciate that.
You were a crowd pleaser.
That means so much to me.
You're a crowd pleaser.
Really, thank you.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Again, anybody that gets in that square is a winner to me.
Amen. Yes. Anybody that goes in there.
It takes heart.
Even just the spar, it takes fucking heart.
But there's fan favorites, there's fan pleasers, and you were definitely a fan pleaser. You know? You gave it all in sparring.
Yeah.
And the story that I forget who you were sparring, but you were putting hands on him, man. I was like, give him a break, bro. but it was a nice sparring.
Yeah, we used to spar very, very hard. Very hard. I feel like at that certain point in the professional ranks, like you have to go hard. You have to go hard in sparring. You're not trying to knock them out, but if you knock them out, it just happens that happened.
Was your dad really hard on that?
What?
On sparring hard or?
No, just.
He already knew that was.
He already knew.
Yeah,
he already knew. We'd go to Wild Card a lot of times for our sparring at Freddie Roach's gym. Freddie, hope you see this.
Yes.
We used to go to Freddie Roach's gym, Wild Card Boxing, a lot of the club, boxing club. So many different towns from all
of everybody there
around the world. Yes.
Around the world, you know.
So you're getting different styles. You're getting different people. You're getting, like, I used to spar with, what was his name, Kabir.
Yeah.
You remember Kabir?
Yes.
Kabir was very tough.
What country was he from?
I think Mongolia.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Mongolian.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kabir. He was very, I sparred him so many times. I think I remember my brother telling me that he used to spar him when he was pro, and I'm like, what the heck? This guy's still around? Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah.
He's still going.
I'm not going to say they're better. They're just a different type of breed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think because we grew up with food on our tables, thank you for dad and mom.
Amen, yes.
We do it for the love of it. They do it for, I got to do this to feed myself, you know? So it's a different, I'm sure there's love in both ways. I'm sure you both want to get to the top, which you already did. But when they come from those third world countries, it's a different kind of mentality, you know?
I bet, yeah, because you're fighting for...
To feed, you know,
the
food.
livelihood.
Yeah, your livelihood. Yeah. Well, we do it for like the fun of it. Our goal, I guess, is the belt.
Yeah.
You know, the belt.
That was always my goal. I was like, I want to win the championship belt.
With them, I think it's more like, I need to get paid.
Yeah, I need to make money.
And if I could get the belt.
That's why they take fights that are just kind of like, don't make sense. Like, why would you fight this guy that's 23-2?
With that said, you already brought up my question.
Okay.
With that said, Daniel, when you're training a fighter, because you're experienced from the good and bad of boxing, how do you, I mean, if Joe Blow walks in, say, hey, Mr. Franco, can you train me? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for somebody that's able to listen. If they are not teachable, I will not teach. That's it. Right. I just need somebody to listen to me.
That's right.
And with a whole open heart, open mind, and you know nothing about boxing, I've dedicated my life to boxing, I will show you how to get good.
And I think you get that from Dad. When I used to take Adrian to the gym in Rialto, he would tell the boys, all right, go run. And if they didn't run, I'd see your dad look at them like, all right.
Yeah, why? If coach tells you run, you better go run. If I say 200 push-ups, you better do 200 push-ups. If you do not, then get out of my gym.
That's right.
Why are you here for boxing if you're not gonna put in the freaking work?
That's right. That's right. So so if they come in and they ask that and they're good listeners, then what do you do if they're not that skilled yet?
Everybody can get skill.
That's right.
Just basic footwork. Footwork and your jab. Footwork and your jab will take you around the world.
My next question. He's reading my mind already. With a good jab, Franco, which you and your brother had.
Oh my God, I loved my jab. My jab was amazing. It was, boom. It was a piston.
And we're not encouraging street fighting, but even in a street fight, the jab is.
Oh my God, yeah. Just boom.
That's right.
You move away as you punch.
If the guy's too strong, the jab will keep him off.
Yeah.
If he's moving, you find him with your jab.
With your jab.
That's right.
Jab will take you around the world, boys. Listen.
There you go. I like that. Jab will take you around the world.
Amen.
So yeah, the jab. So, and that was my question. My next question: if you had to teach,
reading your mind.
I know, man. If you had to teach anybody, a new kid in the street, a new kid in the gym, what would it be? Obviously, the jab, right?
The jab.
The jab is there because mostly every kid or even an adult knows how to throw the one hard punch. Yeah.
Like they're throwing a baseball way back here.
But if you had to counter that, it would be the jab.
It'd be a jab.
The jab is everything, man. The jab is everything. They asked Robert Garcia, the trainer, what would be the first thing you would teach me? And he says the jab.
The jab, of course.
The jab is everything, guys.
So we have a numbering system for all of our punches in boxing. My gym, I've known it.
I heard you guys telling Chucky.
I've known it ever since I was a kid. That's something that we've been brought up on since 9, 10 years old.
Are they all the same, or this is the Franco numbers?
I think some people change them up, but they're generally about the same. One is your jab, because your number one punch is your jab.
Yeah.
Throw that jab. One. That's it. One. I can say the rest of the numbers.
That's right. Yeah.
Don't want to let those secrets out there.
Yeah. But so with that said, the bitterness of the accident that happened, how is your life now? I mean, is there any medication you have to take? Are the surgeries over?
The surgeries are over. I do not have to go through any more surgeries anymore. I get a reminder every once in a while. Somebody's like, "Hey, did you spar?" I'm like, "No, like you're swollen over here." I'm like, "Oh, that's just the plate.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. It's how it is now."
Still a handsome guy, Emil.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So, and now you got a new girlfriend, no?
Kinda, yeah. I kinda got a new
Working on it.
Working on it.
There you go.
She's very, very open, very loving, very warm.
Amen.
She
supports you here at the gym?
Yes, she supports. That's honestly what I really, really like about her, that she's just very supportive in anything that I want to do. She's like, "Yeah, go get it. Go, let's do it."
Awesome. Let me ask you something personal. Was mom supportive of dad?
Yes.
Was mom supportive of you guys fighting?
Yes.
My wife too. My wife too. She supported them, yeah.
Yeah, like my parents were like, if they want to box, they can box.
Yeah.
It's all right, but like, I remember my mom, she always used to tell me, before every fight, she would come into the back dressing room, give me a kiss, say, "Good luck." And I always tell her, "I don't need it, Mom, I'm good."
That's right.
I'm really good.
I remember Ben Leary used to tell us when we were young, it's not about luck. It's what you train for and all that. Not about luck.
Yeah. If you train hard, the fight is that much easier.
Yeah.
The harder you train, the easier the fights get.
Awesome. So with that said, Daniel, I want to thank you for coming on, but I always ask these questions. If fans, can they come up to you, take a picture, ask you questions?
Of course, yeah. I would honestly, I would love that. I kind of miss the limelight. It's nice getting in the ring and having your arm raised and beating somebody up, and then people taking pictures with you after. Yeah. They're just like, "Hey, I want to take a picture."
Unfortunately, I was the guy getting beat up, so I don't know that part. You know?
So the other guy felt that.
I know. So Daniel, we always ask these questions.
Yes, sir.
Who's your what kind of foods you like eating?
I love to eat like very, very good, very healthy food.
You're a healthy guy, huh?
I'm a healthy guy. But if I'm gonna pig out or if I'm gonna treat myself, I'll go get boba. Boba Thai tea. That is.
What kind of food is that?
It's I think it's Vietnamese, like Vietnamese tea.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Thai. Well, it's Thai. Thai tea with boba.
Oh.
You ever had boba?
No.
No. Oh my gosh, y'all out there better try some boba.
There you go.
Boba it's a little ball of like kind of like jelly or gelatin, and you know those popping ones from like popping bubbles. You ever tried those?
No,
drink?
no. But sure,
Okay.
I have to tell the wife, man.
Yeah, boba.
And how about
Boba's
sports?
good.
You have a football team, baseball team?
Football team. I grew up on loving the Broncos because my dad was a Broncos fan.
God. So we know Franco Daniel isn't perfect now. You know, now he's a Denver Broncos fan, but
You Raiders?
I'm a Rams, bro.
Rams. Hey.
I'm done with the Raiders, bro.
I think I heard that on one of the podcasts. You're like, I'm done with the Raiders after
I'm done
this.
with the Raiders, bro. How about baseball?
Baseball, Angels.
Angels.
I grew up
the Angels.
going to baseball.
Because Dad was from Orange County.
Dad was from Orange County. My mom was from Orange County as well.
Dad was a homie there, right? Grew up in the barrio.
Mom, she worked for Coca-Cola, and she would get us tickets all the freaking time. We would go to Angel games, we go to monster truck shows. We would always have something fun to do. It was really, really cool.
Music?
Music, I like indie rock. I like dance music. I feel like something with that.
Yeah, that beat. How about gym music?
That's my gym music.
That's
Boom,
gym
boom,
music?
boom. Or even Ric Flair drip.
Oh, okay.
Ric Flair drip.
Yeah.
That's always. Everybody's like, "Hey, can you play some Ric Flair?" I'm like, "All right, I guess. Come on."
There you go.
You gotta give what the people want, sometimes.
That's right.
Like a knockout every once in a while.
That's right. So, hey, Daniel, before we go, man, say goodbye to the fans. Tell them,
Goodbye, everybody.
and check them out. Remember Warzone Gym? You got 3 sites.
3 sites. Upland, Rialto, and Bullhead City, Arizona.
Is it open in Bullhead yet?
It's not open yet. Our grand opening will be 4th of July weekend, but they are already doing signups and stuff like that.
There you go, guys.
So already accepting enrollment.
So, hey, guys, I want to thank you. I want to thank Daniel for coming
Thank
on.
you, Ray. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Mio. Come check out his gym. When you see him at a fight, walk up to him, take a picture with him. Well, again, guys, get on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, Ref Popeye Ray or Third Man in the Ring. Thank you, and God bless, guys.